As communities in Mississippi deal with the aftermath of last week's ICE raids, there's another story happening in the Deep South that's been taking place almost entirely out of sight. NBC News can report exclusively that more than 8,000 migrants are now detained in the states of Louisiana and Mississippi, nearly 4 times the number held there last year. NBC News correspondent Morgan Radford has been working on this story. Morgan, what more can you tell us?
Willie, we have been digging into the story for over a month, and basically what has happened is that the new fight over the border is now 600 miles away from the border, and it's taking place inside the Deep South. And these facilities, 13 new facilities in Louisiana and Mississippi, are holding now 8,000 detainees. But the thing is, these facilities are popping up so quickly and so quietly that a lot of the immigration attorneys and family members say they're like black holes. They're places where the detainees are unreachable for months, and they're in these really remote areas, and barely anyone knows that they're there. Take a look at this.
Along the winding roads of the American Deep South, the immigration battle has a new front line.
So this is the facility where
this is the sign, yeah.
Staying.
This is Adams County Correctional Center in Mississippi, a private prison now contracted to Immigration and Customs Enforcement.
We are outside of one of the detention centers here in Mississippi. The men behind me are shouting in Spanish.
It's one of more than a dozen such facilities in Louisiana and Mississippi, now holding more than 8,000 ICE detainees, according to new data shared by ICE with NBC News. That number has almost quadrupled in just over a year, making it the largest population of ICE detainees now outside of Texas. Emily Trossel is one of just 8 attorneys in Louisiana who are able to represent adult detainees for free in immigration court. There are none in Mississippi. That's why she's driving across state lines to visit her client, detained just behind these walls.
So how long does it take you to go see your client?
This is going to take us about an hour and a half.
An hour and a half each way?
She and other lawyers have referred to the facilities as black holes, where they say detainees can be unreachable for days and detained for months, a claim that ICE disputes, saying in a statement to NBC News, any claim that ICE denies individuals access to legal counsel is false. Adding, ICE began using new facilities in Louisiana and Mississippi this year to house the increased number of persons encountered at the southern border. For family members like Katis, the wait is unbearable.
It's like you entered a cemetery, like you died in there.
Her brother is Emily's client. Once a doctor in Cuba, her brother says he fled political persecution and presented himself at the border in Texas last year. With no warning, he was moved to Louisiana and then Mississippi. He's been locked up for 10 months while appealing for asylum after ICE denied him parole.
Si pudieras hablar con un líder de nuestro gobierno, un líder federal, ¿qué diría usted? What would you say if you could speak to a government official?
Ahí tienen que chequear un poco más esos centros de migración, específicamente en Luisiana.
They need to check out these government centers, these ICE centers, especially Louisiana.
Llegan a este país y supuestamente es el país de la libertad.
You came looking for liberty because supposedly this is supposed to be the country of freedom. ¿Qué le diría? If you had a message for your brother, what would it be?
Que estoy luchando por él.
That you're fighting for him.
Y voy a seguir luchando por él hasta que se quede en este país.
And you're going to keep fighting for him until he's able to stay here.
A fight that's playing out by the thousands across the country, hundreds of miles away from the border.
So, Willie, the question here is also the length of stay. Since 2016, the paroles that have been granted has decreased from 75% to 1%, and that's just in the past few years. So that basically means if you're applying for asylum and ICE or DHS does not grant you parole, you're there basically indefinitely.
Well, first of all, great piece of reporting, shedding a light on this. So the brother in the piece here of the woman that you were speaking to there, he presented himself at a port of entry, is that correct? Fleeing political persecution.
That's the thing. Most of these people are in there because they said, hey, I am presenting myself legally. I am not trying to be an undocumented immigrant. He went to the port of entry in Texas, and this man is a doctor, right? I mean, my dad's family came to this country by way of Cuba, and you come to this country thinking you're coming for freedom and trying to do it the right way. And this is a guy who said, I was back in my country trying to help people. I took an oath. I am a doctor. And when I came here, I wanted to do it lawfully, and I wanted to help people in the United States. And this is what's happened.
So we've all heard about the detention facilities along the border. We've seen the conditions inside those facilities. Is Washington aware, as far as you can tell? Is Congress talking about these facilities in the South?
Washington is aware. For example, Senator Elizabeth Warren wrote a letter to DHS basically raising a lot of questions about these new facilities. Again, the ones that attorneys have said have been brought up recklessly quickly. She gave them until July 25th to respond, and as of this morning, her office has still not heard back.
Well, thank you for putting the microscope on this problem. I'm sure more people are going to be talking about it now, and I know you'll stay on it. Morgan Radford, thanks so much. Good to see you.
Thanks for checking out MSNBC on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. And you can click on any of the videos around us to watch more from Morning Joe and MSNBC. Thanks so much for watching.